Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 7th grade concept of equations and inequalities. This is standard 7.11a in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 27 off the 2022 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we've got an inequality here. We need to solve for the solution set. So let's start with this right here. And so it seems like it's pretty straightforward, right? We need to go ahead and to isolate this variable, we need to go ahead and subtract 5.5 from both sides. And you see we're immediately getting into an issue here. 17 minus 5.5. All right, so there's a few different ways we can do that. So one thing we can do is we can rewrite 17, right? We can rewrite it as 16 in 2 halves. Now we would never really write it like that because 2 halves is equal to 1, but you see how this 1 plus the 16 makes 17. But if I rewrite it like that, it becomes a little bit easier. 2 halves minus 1 half equals 1 half. Because if you subtract fractions, you need to make sure the denominators are equal and that the first numerator is larger than the second denominator, that you don't get into negatives or anything like that. So you could do 11.5. Probably an easier way to do it without all that business would be to go ahead and just change it into a decimal, right? 17.0 minus 5.5. As long as we know that 5.5 is the same as 5.5, and we make it 17.0, we're going to get 11.5, which we then need to push back into 11.5. Okay, so we've done that. So I've got negative 5d less than or equal to 11.5. Okay, so now we need to divide both sides by negative 5. And in case you're wondering, yes, we are going to flip this inequality because we are dividing or multiplying by a negative number. So I'll show you why we need to in just a moment. First, let's just go ahead and do 5 into 11.5. We'll just make the answer negative, okay? So 5 goes into 11 twice. That's 10. All right, so 5 goes into 15 3 times. All right, so 2.3, but I say it's going to be d. Now I'm going to have to flip this because I divided by negative, is greater than or equal to. Then I've got a 2.3. It looks like everything here is fraction, so 2 and 3/10, and then let's put the negative there. All right, so I'm thinking it's A. Now, it could also be B. You see how the B and A are the same except for their inequality? So let's just pick a number and just put it back in the original, just to verify that we do need to flip the inequality when we divide by negative. Okay, so if I think it's greater than negative 2 and 3/10, well, let's just get smart. Negative 2 and 3/10. So anything bigger than this, right? Well, guess what's bigger than that? 0. So let's just put 0 back into here. So I've got negative 5, put it back in the original, times 0, plus 5.5 is less than or equal to 17. Yeah, so that's 0, so 5.5 is less than or equal to 17, so it checks out, right? So that's why I had to flip that inequality, because I divided by negative. What happens if I didn't? And I thought it was the less than, all right? So I need to pick something less than negative 2, all right? So let's just make it negative 10, just to test, okay? So negative 5 times negative 10 plus 5.5. Let's see if I can do that correctly. 5.5, there we go. Less than or equal to 17. Look at that, negative 5, negative 10, that's 50 plus 5.5. Ooh, less than or equal to 17? No, that's 55.5. Is not less than 17. So, if you're ever in doubt, just plug some numbers in. Our answer here is A.